Alright, and welcome back. This is Mike from NintendoFuse bringing you a review of Has Been Heroes on the Nintendo Switch. Has Been Heroes is an action strategy roguelike from the creators of Trine. While the game isn't bad, it's not the best the studio can do. Has Been Heroes released on multiple consoles, and the footage you're seeing here is the Nintendo Switch version. The game is practically identical to its counterparts and it plays roughly the same, so don't expect too much difference. The game has a decent story, but it's forgettable. The controls are just way too confusing, and before you ask, there is no touchscreen controls. The gameplay is definitely where this game starts going downhill, but we'll continue on. We'll touch on that a little bit later. So let's begin. So a little about the story. It's about a group of has-been heroes who are summoned to take the king's daughters to school. Now, that's not a great plot device. They try to shoehorn in some elements here and there, at least make it a little bit more engaging. So, the enemy attacks while you're taking this king's daughters to school. You eventually meet the a gatekeeper at Heaven's Gates, who bestows upon you extra powers as well as resurrecting you. So every time you die, you end up going back to him and he unlocks more stuff for you. So that's sort of how it goes. But the story is pretty simple. It's not very open-ended, but it's okay for the premise, but I'm not gonna be grading it too much on that. So from the story to the controls are just way too confusing. And to explain that a little bit, it's not confusing in the sense that they're laid out improperly. They're laid out fine. Is that you're always rushing to click the right button, and you're all over the place on the controls, and it's just stupid. That's just me putting it nicely. The way you change heroes, so you pause the game, or it pauses the game afterwards, and it gives you an option to change your hero's lanes. And while that's great and all, it gets a little bit confusing. So if you want to move your hero from the top lane to the bottom lane, you're going to have to do a little bit of extra work to get that working. On top of that, so you got monsters coming at you full force. So I mean, like, not like a little bit. I mean, like, probably 15, 20 enemies at a time just coming at you from all sorts of directions here. It's too much at different speeds and everything else. And they're all different staminas and everything else. It's just way too much. So, and the other thing that really bugs me about these controls is that there's no touchscreen. Like, this game would be perfect for touchscreen controls on the go. And this game doesn't have that. It just has it touchscreen in the menu. And that really bugs me because it's sort of like they thought about it and they just didn't do it. So, I don't even know what to say here. Like, the controls are just bad. So, from the controls, we go right into the gameplay. And the gameplay itself is best described as difficult. It knows what it is, and it knows what it does. It's a difficult action strategy roguelike, but it doesn't need to be that difficult, that fast. You need to develop a strategy, create a build. However, like I said, enemies are a huge problem. And it's not so much the type of enemies, it's the amount of enemies that are your problem. And the more enemies you have on screen, the harder it gets. You got your normal enemies, your bosses, your sub-bosses, and it just doesn't stop. Bosses can be ridiculously hard if you have a ton of enemies on screen. But these controls also play into the problem as well. So if you place your hero in the wrong lane, you're going to run into a lot of problems really fast. You're going to end up dying a whole lot. And when one character dies, you lose. There's no way to recover that one character. There's no way to continue with just the two. You just lose. And while I understand the games like this are supposed to be challenging, it's very tedious and makes you very angry very fast. There's been points where I just put the controller down and I had to sit and think. It's just not worth my time to be constantly playing something where I have next to no reward at the end of it if I can't even get to the reward. This game could be good with a few more updates, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one, and maybe touchscreen controls might make things a little bit easier. But beyond that, I can't say too much. Like, there's too much difficulty in this game for me to even really review it properly. Like, although I am going to say this, there is lots of unlocks. Like, there's way too many unlocks. And I understand the reasoning for it. I think they're just trying to pad out gameplay and have you develop styles and such. But it's just more so, I think it's more for the completionist. That's where I really stand on the gameplay. It's not good. It's hard. It's tough. You're going to get thrown around a lot, and there's lots of unlocks. So overall, the game is really just a diamond in the rough. It's unimaginative story, doesn't leave a lot to the imagination. Lack of touchscreen and the terrible and clunky controls just make the game not fun and very stressful. The game is very hard. It throws a lot of enemies at you for no reason. The bosses shouldn't be as hard as they are. The balance is way too off in the game. So, but it is what it is, and it's really the studio's first attempt at a roguelike action strategy game. So, I applaud them for that. So, there is going to be some goods here and there, like the unlocks. The sound design is obviously another good thing. I didn't touch on it too much, or at all, really, but the sound design is fine. But overall, I'm just going to give this game a 4 out of 10. So, I'm not going to recommend this to anybody, but if you really want a challenge and you don't want to spend a lot of money on it, wait till the game's on sale, buy it then. Don't spend money on it now hoping it's going to be good, because it's just inherently not good. So, this has been Mike from NintendoFuse. Thank you for watching.